Hey, so we're in Mexico City. We're just wrapping up the FIA Sport Conference week, and this is Joe Brown, who I didn't know at the beginning of the week, but he's become quite a good buddy. He's the executive editor of Wired from California. You played a part in this conference, but I mean, you were talking about how motorsport maybe. Well, I was asking you whether motorsport has been a bit slow to embrace social media. Everybody thinks it has. What's your view?
I think a lot of people have been slow to embrace social media, and the same can be said for even media outlets in our world. It's moving so fast that it's very hard to keep up. It's very hard to actually embrace everything fast enough, because it seems like every week there's a new social platform, whether it's Snapchat going from being some kind of fringe thing where you send dirty pictures to your friends, or Ello being this weird social network, and then all of a sudden Snapchat is a main content producer, where you have actual Vice News putting out real stories on Snapchat, and Ello having brand pages. I mean, it's moving really fast, and it's hard to know what the right platform for your endeavor is. So has motorsport been a little slow to take it up? The ones that I follow, I think yes.
Because you like Formula One, right? You're the American who's in the tech industry over in California. You love Formula One.
I am the American guy who loves Formula One. Yes, there's at least one of me.
Interesting, but I mean, obviously everyone looks at Formula One and they think, oh, they've been so slow to get onto this, and they feel that there's this massive unexploited opportunity there. And do you think, what are the platforms for the future that Formula One needs to be thinking of? It's going to grow to the new audience, the young audience that's coming through.
I mean, I think there are a lot of tools that we can use. If you look at the way kids are experiencing everything, I mean, a lot of it, of course, is on the phone. It's getting almost to be a cliche that you need to be on the phone in order to reach people. And, you can stream some Formula One. They have an app, and that's not enough. I mean, there are new emerging technologies. Like the one that's exciting to me that I would love to see in Formula One is Google Cardboard. It's either you can download the plans for free on the internet. Anybody's smartphone with a good enough screen can use it. And all of a sudden, you have a little virtual reality visor that you can make at home. Imagine if there was a driver point of view camera that could use Google Cardboard. This stuff is already out there. The content's already being made. It's available on all these platforms. It seems like there's some low-hanging fruit that motorsport could take better advantage of to really get the message out to everybody, because this is such an exciting sport, right? I mean, Formula One is some of the best drivers in the world, risking their lives literally, driving at stupid speeds, very, very close to each other, and it just doesn't seem from the reader's perspective or the viewer's perspective like it's that exciting sometimes.
It's just not like an extreme sport anymore, because there are more extreme sports that have come along. I mean, my view, like in the 70s, the 80s, you watch the Senna movie, the camera's vibrating as he's doing the lap of Monaco. It was an extreme sport. Now, my kids watch motocross bikes doing triple backflips or double backflips, and people jump off mountains wearing batsuits. That's extreme sport, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, motorsport's still extreme, and people still get really hurt doing motorsports. It's just the perception of it being dangerous isn't there. And that's the thing, right? You don't want to actually, the answer is not to put people in more danger. And people who jump off mountains in batsuits are crazy, right? And we're not trying to get Formula One drivers to wear batsuits and go flying or, do anything that would really endanger their lives any more than they already are. But the audience needs to know how much more dangerous it is. Now, if you think about all these social platforms, right? I don't know what the answer is on them, but there's maybe an opportunity to communicate that a little bit better. Like maybe instead of a super beautiful HD camera shot from inside of Lewis Hamilton's cockpit, like maybe he's got his phone on or something and it's strapped to his chest and that's recording it, and it doesn't have the benefit of all this incredibly
So you want to go back from almost like the digital to the analog in the way things look, and the more the juddery and that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm not in the room where they make the cameras, but I can imagine somebody says, we need the best cameras. You can barely see what's going on. We need something that's going to be super stable and always going to look as great as possible. And then they make this great camera and you put it in the car and it looks like he's out for a Sunday drive,
Yeah.
But in reality, his heart rate's at 170. He's putting how many kilos of pressure on the brake pedal just to stop. He's sweating like a pig. He's muscling the steering wheel around while at the same time switching the front wing angle a little bit and adjusting the brake bias. Like, you wouldn't know that if you're watching Formula One on television, right? And there's a really interesting opportunity, I think, to creatively use a lot of the communication platforms that are out there to tell people that this is going on.
Well, that's interesting because, I mean, obviously see people focus on the fact that viewing figures on TV, which has been the big platform for all these years, it's what Bernie built the business on, right? It's where all the money's come from so far, are declining. Germany's like nothing compared to what it was in the Schumacher years. For Italy's the same, Ferrari aren't quite as powerful, but just generally, UK is the same. So, but do you think the sport should be worried about that, or do you think the sport can it get the revenues from these new platforms? Ultimately, will they make money out of that stuff?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, TV is not. So let's first of all disaggregate televisions from television, right? I have plenty of friends who have huge big screen TVs and no cable or satellite subscription. They have things like a Roku, or some have Chromecast, or other set-top boxes.
Apple TV.
Yeah, Apple TV. A few people have that. Just,
We have it in England. It's quite popular.
Well, I mean, think about if there was an Apple TV channel that was just in-car camera, right?
Yeah.
And then every time you switch to a new driver, it's sponsored by Samsung. Probably not going to happen on Apple TV, but sponsored by Coca-Cola. These kinds of things give opportunities for monetization in not unfamiliar ways, right? Because you do have to accommodate the people who are going to pay for this by giving them something that's a little bit familiar. Display advertising, the putting up of a commercial or a video pre-roll or a banner or something, that's something that companies are comfortable with. And so until everything changes, you need to be able to give them something that they can understand. But even just using these new platforms in effective ways, and you can find new opportunities for them that aren't going to put them on. And so, I would love to see more screens or more opportunities for our same screens.